My mom created a fun way for us to learn the most important rules of life. Yah's command.
With Yah's Big Ten commands, we get to see His what's best for us.
Keep Yah first.
No graven images.
Don't take Yah's name in vain.
Remember Shabbat and keep it holy.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Mr. and Mrs., don't cheat.
Don't steal.
Don't tell lies.
Don't covet.
This changes everything. Get your set of Yah's Big Ten commands at Big Ten Designs today.
Shalom, shalom family. Grace and peace to all of you tonight. Glad to have y'all up in the building. I wasn't anticipating to come on tonight. We had such a powerful time on Friday, and I wasn't expecting to come on tonight, but became privy to some information yesterday on Shabbat, and I felt the need to address it. So that's why we're here. So all praises and glory and honor and esteem be unto our Yah. Hopefully my children will be in obedience and go to sleep. But now children are. But anyway, we're going to have a lively discussion tonight. Y'all know what the topic is. Man, did we just get on this? I mean, we were just on this topic has it been almost 6 months? 6 months ago, we was talking about this. Why are we talking about this now? Like, what happened? We're going to find out. But before we do, fam, I'm going to give some shout outs. I appreciate and love y'all. Hey, listen, thank y'all so much for your love and your support on Friday. Thank y'all for all of my new subs. Got a lot of great new subscribers that joined us on Friday. We are at 8,900 subscribers. I want one of those, hoorah tracks, yeah. Okay, but I don't have one of those. So thank you so much. We're going to 10,000. We'd like to do that before the Gregorian calendar of 2023 hits. Even better to be over 10,000. But I want to thank y'all so much for coming in. If you have not subscribed to Ashanda at Large, then you definitely need to hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit it, mash it up, and make sure that you press that bell notification as well so that you can get and be up to date with all of my new and latest content as it comes out. So in the meantime, in between time, let me go ahead and say peace and blessings to the family. Peace and blessings, P. Redmond. Glad to have you in the building and welcome to Ashanda at Large. Yabarah Yisrael, peace and blessings to you. Brother Dave up in the building, peace and blessings to you. Emma Paget, peace and blessings to you. Welcome to the platform. Jonda Ash, shalom family, peace and blessings. Brother Timothy Davis up in the building. Some new faces tonight, you know what I'm saying? Brother Darnell, peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you. Sister Angie Love Yah in the building. Omiyah, shalom. Sister Shefla in the building. Peace and blessings to all of you. Brooke Queen up in the house. Peace and blessings to you. Y'all hit that thumbs up as well. Kenneth Wilkerson in the building. Peace and blessings. Ruhama. Peace and blessings, sis. Dwayne Burton, peace and blessings to you. All right, we got Diamond Love up in the building. Glad to have you here, sis. Peace and blessings. Charles West up in the building. What's good, my bro? All right. Kenneth McNeely, peace and blessings to you. All right. Who else we got up here? Cindy Carr up in the building. Peace and blessings. Susan G. Shalom. Peace and blessings to you. The Breakthrough Wives Club. Peace and blessings to you as well. We got Marcella Smith. Shalom. Shalom. Peace and blessings. Kelsey Daniels. Peace and blessings to you. Lamaria Johnson. Shalom. Shalom. Sis Neozeki up in the building. Salama, shalom to you, my sis. All right, who else we got in here? Stacy Pullum up in the building. Peace and blessings. Israelite wife. Peace and blessings to you. All right, fam, we're going to go ahead and move forward. I'm so glad to have y'all here tonight, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started with the good information that we got to discuss tonight. So I took a poll. And let me tell you what everything was based off. First off, the information I became privy to came from my dear brother Lorvins, who posted in his community tab yesterday a poll. Okay, so I'm going to share his poll. I'm not going to share mine. I'm going to share his poll really quickly. This is the poll that he shared. It says, "Who would watch this? Read the article to answer the question." And so, of course, me being nosy, I can be a little nosy. I went and read the article. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Okay. So who was nosy with me? Who got a chance to read the article? If you didn't get a chance to read the article, press 2. If you got a chance to read the article, press 1. Who was nosy with me? I could be a little nosy, just a little bit. The dog, like, I read it. I got some problems with it too. All right. Rumar said, I'm nosy. Stacy, yeah, me too. Brother Don said, I'm staying in my lane. I am not nosy. Okay. Sister Chanda said, me neither. That's all right. We all going to be nosy tonight because we're going to talk tonight, y'all. We got some things to talk about. All right. So, again, shout out to my brother Lorvins. I invited him on the platform tonight, but he, unfortunately for him, but he has some previous engagements he had to attend to, so he won't be here tonight. But we're going to go ahead and talk about this article. So for those of y'all who didn't get a chance to read this article, I'm going to go ahead and read it for you, okay? And yes, I'm going to read it in its entirety. It's very important that we hear it in its entirety. So let me just full screen on that real quick for y'all. And as you see, this article is from the Jerusalem Post, okay? So it's the Jerusalem Post. It was an opinion piece, all right? And we're going to note the date that it was written on. That's very important information that we should be aware of. It was written on June 17th. Okay, so this just happened a few weeks ago. All right, so let's go ahead and read. It says, anti-Semitic books shouldn't be banned, but debated. Opinion. Many Jewish organizations call for a certain anti-Semitic book to be banned. However, there are reasons to oppose this. Instead, its author should be debated. The book, Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America by Ron Dalton Jr. is now in the news. They named the name that should not be named. No, seriously, family, this is not now in the news. This was in the news 6 months ago. He's a little late, but he's kind of old. But nevertheless, let's continue. It is viciously and falsely anti-Semitic. At a time when we Jews have been all too often subjected to actual physical attacks. Many Jewish groups are calling for a banning of this publication. This is understandable. However, sticks and stones may break my broken bones, but that's not how that line went. I thought it said sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Nevertheless, anyway. While words may indeed hurt me, they can never violate my rights. This is true unless they constitute actual threats, such as your money or your life at gunpoint. But it is not even alleged by its most fervent critics that this book even comes close to doing anything like that. So he said it's fair. He didn't call for any physical violence against a particular community. He said, though, what is this book all about? And here are some of its claims. Present-day Jews are imposters. They have absconded with and undermined the religious heritage of Africans and African Americans. Via a vast amount of misinformation, these Jews have miseducated Black people, hiding from them their actual identity. Point number 2. There is a Jewish conspiracy to oppress and defraud the Black community. The former has robbed the latter of vast wealth through surreptitious means. Point number 3, hidden by historians, Jews were in large part involved in the transatlantic slave trade, which facilitated the slavery of Black people. It is past time that their responsibility for this bondage and oppression of Blacks be publicized. Number 4, the Jews are greedy and have no historical connection to any land in Israel. Thus, the Jews are responsible for the oppression of the Palestinians and have no proper title to any significant amount of land in that area. Number 5, the Jews lie in their claim that Jesus Christ was a Jew. Now, before I continue to read the article, now I have to just put out a caveat. I did not read Hebrews to Negroes. I watched the documentary several times, okay? But I did not read the book. Now, me personally, I don't recall a lot of the things that he's alleging in the documentary. Now, some of you read the book. And if you believe that any of these points that this person has made is accurate, then please let me know. Because I observed from the documentary that the majority, I would say 96 or 97% of the documentary was focused on what it was actually mentioned in the title, Wake Up, Black America. It was about us. It was talking about us, our identity all over the world, knowing who we are as a people and how we have been blinded to, I would say blinded to, and yes, lied to, but blinded to the knowledge of self. That's what I understood from the documentary, okay? I'm going to continue to read, but I just wanted to put that out there. All right. I am not now going to defend this book, of course, but I am going to oppose its banning. There has been far too much cancellation of ideas of late. It is time. It is past time to oppose such anti-intellectualism. Judge Louis Brandeis said that sunlight is the best disinfectant, and no words were truer or more apt for the present situation. I may be accused of anti-Semitism myself for opposing the cancellation of this book and with it these ideas. All I can say is that I have a long paper trail of pro-Jewish publications. My most recent book was a very enthusiastic defense of Israel. Who is calling for this book to be banned? The Anti-Defamation League, the American Jewish Committee, and Jewish Federations of North America. In their letter to Amazon asking this company to stop distributing the Hebrews to Negro book and film on its platform, they stated, by continuing to platform this film and other clearly hateful content, Amazon is knowingly and willingly propagating anti-Semitism. Amazon declined to comply, but Barnes & Nobles did so. Why we shouldn't ban anti-Semitic books. There are two main reasons for opposing the prohibition of Hebrews to Negroes Wake Up, Black America. First, the deontological. This book violates no one's rights. These are merely the opinions of its author. Will it lead some criminally minded people to engage in violence against Jews? Let us stipulate that indeed it likely will. If we ban the book on this basis and want to be logically consistent, we will also have to prescribe soccer games, Super Bowl contests, and other such sporting events which result in physical violence and even deaths. Then there are movies which feature gang activities, which sometimes result in the same unfortunate occurrences. No, if criminals attack Jews after being influenced by Mr. Dalton, it will be the fault of the actual perpetrators, not that of the author of this book, no matter how reprehensible are his views. So that's point number 1. Now the second, the pragmatic. We Jews are people of the book. Sorry. That means, if it means anything at all, okay, I don't know why I flipped down there. Let me get it back up here. If it means anything at all, that we are oriented toward intellectual matters. We do not run away from them. That would be Ashanda. Okay, now I'm going to just say this real quick. Okay, I'm going to put this out here because I'm a little salty. I am very, very irritated by the Yiddish word. It is not a Hebrew word, but by the Yiddish word, shanda. Okay? I do not appreciate my name being used in a defamatory manner as to what it is used in that language. My name does not mean ashamed. My name is a very powerful name. Okay? My name is something worthy of power. It is an African language, and I'm looking it up as a matter of fact so I can know the exact meaning, but it does not mean ashamed. So I just want to put that out there. I'm a little salty about that. Let me continue. Surely, a far more practical way of dealing with this book is to challenge Mr. Dalton to a public debate, to organize seminars that spotlight his errors. Shall we also burn copies of Hitler's Mein Kampf? How about the protocols of the elders of Zion? Forbid anyone to read them if we had the power? That is no way for people of the book to act. That's so funny. One of the calumnies against Jews is that we run things to an unacceptable extent. Well, if our protests end up with the squelching of this book, then to that extent, our critics will have been proven correct, at least in this one instance. This will be a charge we should avoid rather than, for far too many Jewish organizations, in effect, if not by intention, embrace. Let me emphasize that my difficulty with the Jewish groups that want to ban, cancel, boycott this book is only over means, not ends. We are in full accord on that. These anti-Semitic ideas must be fought. My suggestion is not to try to convince Ron Dalton Jr. to change his mind on these matters. Rather, it is to challenge him to a debate. Let's get ready to rumble! Okay, seriously though. Probably he would be unwilling to engage in any such enterprise, in which case he would lose many of his followers based on his cowardice. However, if he were foolish enough to accept this challenge, his views would be so obliterated that again, he would lose many of his followers. Trying to silence him just makes us look bad in so many, many ways. Yes, without a doubt, anti-Semitism must be fought, but with a little shekel, not blindly and ineffectively, banning a book indeed. So this is the article in which we are going to be discussing tonight. All right, family. Tell me what y'all think about that article. A little spicy, right? A little spicy. Now, I want you all to pay careful attention to this name, Walter Block. He's the gentleman on the thumbnail that is featured on this video, and we are going to be talking a little bit about Mr. Block tonight. Why? Because, see, I don't believe in instigators. You see, I believe that you got to call out the instigators. I'm not even dealing with the ADL or the Jewish Federation or none of them tonight. You know why? I ain't going to deal with them because they didn't start the beef. You see, he started the beef. You know, like back in the day, you know what I mean? Like you always had someone say, "Ooh, he talked about your mama. What you gonna do about that?" Right? This dude right here is the instigator. So don't talk about having the Jewish community and leadership to debate Ron Dalton or to call for a debate of Ron Dalton. We gonna deal with you tonight. That's what we gonna deal with. But before we do, as I said, family, the timing of it all seems very interesting. That is June 17th, 2023, that Mr. Block decided that he wanted to write his opinion about Ron Dalton, who was just minding his own black business. This man all up in Africa, just minding his business, trying to get the South African people woke, putting out his theatrical release out there in South Africa, just minding his business. And then this dude got to come up in here on June 17th, you know, Pride Month, and start talking about a black man. Now, what he gonna do that for? What he gonna do that for? I mean, I'm just saying, you know, don't you think it would be so much better for him if he were to focus on what's actually going on? Since he the people of the book, you know what I mean? In the land that they say belongs to them, wouldn't it be interesting if he actually focused on Pride Month and what they say is happening in quote unquote Jerusalem? Let's take a look.
כשאני הולכת לתל אביב, יותר קל לי. כן, אבל גם בירושלים אני מוצאת את עצמי, בסביבה שלי אני מקיפה את עצמי, בסביבה שהיא מאפשרת. אין ספק שבירושלים אני נתקלת יותר בהומופוביה. רק בדרך למצעד קיבלתי כמה הודעות מכל מיני אנשים שאומרים לי ללכת למצעד זה לפגוע בנו
אני באתי כי חשוב לי להיות פה, כי ירושלים כאילו היא העיר של כולנו, היא לא העיר רק של החרדים או של הערבים או של קבוצה אתנית כזאת או אחרת, היא העיר של כולנו, וכאילו אם לא ניצד פה, לא חשוב שניצד באף מקום. כאילו הבירה הזאת היא שלנו כמו שהיא של כולם.
I mean, because all I'm saying is he said that they the people of the book. He said they the people of the book, right? It's Jerusalem Post. I mean, I would think Jerusalem Post would be concerned about what's going on in quote unquote, if you will, Jerusalem. And let's just say, because you know it's a lot of debate about the land, but let's just say for conversation's sake that really is Jerusalem over there. Then I think that they will fulfill this scripture very well by what I just saw. Let's take a look what the scripture has to say. It starts off in Luke chapter 21, verse 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. Now we know that happened in 70 AD through the Roman occupation and the Roman quote unquote Jewish wars. But let's see what it says in verse 24. It says, and they, who was they? Israel, true Israelites, shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive. Into where? I say into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now do me a favor. Can you put a 1 in the chat if you looked at that pride parade in quote unquote Jerusalem and it looked like it was being trampled underfoot? And if it did, then you go ahead and put a 2. But you know, in my mind, I'm a little quirky, but in my mind, it looked like a lot of trodden and underfoot by a certain kind of people. So maybe I'm a little nutty. I could be just a little bit nutty. But go on and tell me what it looked like to you. Did it look like they was trodden and underfoot? Did it look like that to you too? It looked like it was trodden and underfoot? To me, it looked like it was being trodden underfoot. Lynn said, nah, it didn't look like that to me. I don't know, Lynn. I got to disagree with you. It looked a little bit like a bunch of people was out there. If you want to say that's Jerusalem, right? Okay. Let's move on. We're going to talk about this word anti-Semitism before we get into Mr. Block real quick, because we talked about this before, and we've done many discussions on this. But let's talk about this word again. I kept this up on purpose. Semitic. Adjective, relating to or denoting a family of languages that includes Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic, and in certain ancient languages such as Phoenician and Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family. Or number 2, relating to the peoples who speak Semitic languages, especially Hebrew and Arabic. But the emphasis there is Afro-Asiatic, right? So when we're talking about anti-Semitism, we're talking about to an Afro-Asiatic people group. So where do these people come from? We're just going to do this little history for those of y'all who are new to the platform. You may have never heard of this information before, but you hear because you heard about Hebrews and Negroes and you want to know what's going on. So Ashkenaz people. Ashkenazi, plural Ashkenazism, from Hebrew Ashkenaz, parentheses, Germany. Member of the Jews who lived in the Rhineland Valley and in neighboring France before their migration eastward to Slavic lands, Poland, Lithuania, Russia after the Crusades, 11th and 13th century, and their descendants. After the 17th century persecutions in Eastern Europe, large numbers of these Jews resettled in Western Europe, where they assimilated as they had done in Eastern Europe with other Jewish communities. In time, all Jews who had adopted the German Rite synagogue ritual were referred to as Ashkenazim. I'm sorry. That was correct. To distinguish them from Sephardic Spanish Rite Jews, Ashkenazim differ from Sephardim in their pronunciation of Hebrew and culture, traditions, and synagogue cantillations, chanting in their widespread use of Yiddish. That's what I'm telling y'all. Until the 20th century, and especially in synagogue liturgy. Today, Ashkenazim constitute more than 80% of all the Jews in the world, vastly outnumbering Sephardic Jews. In the early 21st century, Ashkenazic Jews numbered about 11 million. In Israel, the numbers of Ashkenazim and Sephardim are roughly equal, and the chief rabbinate has both an Ashkenazic and Sephardic chief rabbi on equal footing. All Reform and conservative Jewish congregations belong to the Ashkenazic tradition. Did y'all hear anything at all, even one thing about Afro-Asiatic? Did you hear even one thing about Afro-Asiatic people? No, you didn't. You heard all about Eastern Europe and Western Europe. Nothing about Africa, right? So, but we just gonna go around using that word Semitic and say anti-Semitic. Now, as I told y'all, the brother Ron was minding his business. He wasn't studying none of them. Matter of fact, he wasn't studying at all. You see, what had happened is that they had gotten offended because they had seen was they had looked at Amazon and they had checked out this man's book. And they had seen that he had a 4.7% rating, star rating on his book by over 2,000 people, 2,667 ratings to be exact. 4.7. That's what they saw. Somebody say somebody's shaking in their boots. They don't want his influence anymore. Most of the people that read his book, their biggest argument was the grammatical errors. But most people that read the book said, this is fantastic information. This is fantastic information. And you know what I did not notice in the comment section where they were talking about what they saw in the book? I didn't notice anybody focusing on anything having to deal with the Jewish community. Nothing. None at all. And this is important to understand. Because see, this is how stuff gets misconstrued. This is how stuff happens. Where our name is put in something that we ain't even do. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get in on Mr. Walter Block. Because like I told you, I don't like dealing with, people trying to do the sleight of hand and turn your eyes in the other way. I'm going for the original, right? I want to know where the original message came from. Who wrote the message? A man by the name of Walter Block. Let's find out a little bit about him. This page paper says the attack on Walter Block. On December 10th, the provost of Loyola University of New Orleans wrote the following to Walter Block. Walter is the Harold E. Worth Eminent Scholar, Endowed Chair, and Professor of Economics at Loyola and a contributor here at EconLib. Now, he's a contributor at EconLib who's writing this, okay? So I think we need to keep that in mind as we're reading this for their defense of him. But here it is. It says, R.E. response, another complaint. Dear Dr. Block, I write to inform you that I am in receipt of 3 additional complaints against you from 3 different students. The key allegations are troubling and they are in clear violation of Loyola's values, mission, and policy. Indeed, the alleged actions are flagrant violations of the well-established principles of Catholic morality and in clear violation of Chapter 9 of the Faculty Handbook. These complaints were received during the course of our ongoing investigation into similar alleged conduct. The 3 complainants allege that your statements and commentary have been included such abhorrent comments as, quote unquote, slavery wasn't bad. Women make less money because they are lazy or incapable. Women are paid less because they don't work as hard. And it's the same with people of color. And that Disability Act shouldn't exist. One of the students noted that you openly expressed your racist, homophobic, transphobic, and sexist statements publicly in classes, in your writings, and in your emails. This had a profoundly negative impact on the students' experience at Loyola. These alleged actions indicate a pattern of complete disregard for Loyola's values and mission, considering the prior investigation and complaints we have received from students. Central to our Jesuit Catholic identity, y'all, I know them words just sticking out at y'all, they just jumping out at y'all, but just focus, is our commitment to human dignity and the whole person. I am extremely disappointed that in spite of your written commitment to quote unquote do better, you seem to continue to ignore your obligation as a faculty member of a Jesuit Catholic university. You also seem to continue to create a hostile and discriminatory environment for our students. The university has an obligation under Title, 4, to ensure that the educational, that's Title 9, sorry, I think it's like the B that's 5. Okay, Title 9 to ensure that the educational environment is welcoming, equitable, and not permeated by ridicule and comments that are derogatory on the basis of gender, race, or any other classification. Faculty conduct must be guided by the principles stated in our faculty handbook that concern for the student as a person is central to the Jesuit educational mission. As with prior complaints, we will investigate these additional complaints and you will receive a written determination regarding these alleged actions. Please note that in light of number 1, the number of complaints we receive regarding the substantially same alleged conduct. Number 2, the impact these alleged actions is having on our students. Number 3, Loyola's legal obligations. And 4, your apparent continued violation of your obligations under the faculty handbook. Loyola may be forced to institute disciplinary proceedings under Chapter 9 of the faculty handbook based upon the outcome of these investigations. Sincerely, Tanuja Singh, DBA, Provost and SVP of Academic Affairs. Come on, somebody. Come on, somebody. Now, this is the man that was just talking smack a minute ago about Ron Dalton and how anti-Semitic he is. He's so anti-Semitic. But we don't want to cancel him, no. We want to debate him and his anti-Semitism. Family, let me tell y'all something. Walter Block got some issues. He got some issues, and we're going to talk about it tonight. I went to y'all give this video a thumbs up. Come on now. I went to a site here. It's called ratemyprofessors.com. And y'all see they talking about Walter Block. Unlike Ron Dalton, his review was a 3.75. I tell you, he's just jealous. He's just jealous. He wanted that 4.75. Now you got some folk out here getting them good, okay? But you got some folk out here like absolutely insufferable. Number 2.0, thinks he's brilliant and woe to those who disagree. Heavy pushing for his type of libertarianism, which he will try to sell you on, agree is rational. A junior pointed me to his 2 interviews with Sam Cedar on YouTube. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that tonight. But I didn't watch it until after ad drop. Big mistake. If you want to know what you'll be getting, watch those beforehand. No joke. Number 3, 1.0. Do not take this class. There is a midterm and final both worth 100 points each. The questions are not written well, and lectures are offensive to Afro-Americans. You do not need to buy the textbook, but instead you will need to buy his books and actually read them. If you're looking for an easy and straightforward course, do not choose him. I wonder if Jerusalem Post, if they were being mindful, if you will, of the people that they chose to allow to write opinion pieces. Now I'm trying to look for a specific one, a specific comment. I don't see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it here, because the comment was just so funny. Okay. But I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it on this page. I found it yesterday, but I don't think it's on here. They got 4.5, a couple 4.0. You know, it's always gonna be some. Okay. But there was a comment on here, okay, that said that we have classes in South Africa on the worst professors in the United States. And Walter Block is at the top of the list. Walter Block. They having whole discussions in South Africa where Brother Ron Dalton is, okay, about this man. This is the one who wants to call for the debate for Hebrews to Negroes. This is the one. So let's continue, because y'all need to know who we're working with. All right. James Gill from NOLA.com. This professor was accused of racism in class, but he recorded his lectures, right? They always want to defend him. Walter Block stands accused of violating the values, mission, and policy that are central to the Jesuit Catholic identity of Loyola University in New Orleans, where he's an economics professor. That would be more shocking if Block were not an 80-year-old Jewish libertarian and devout atheist from Brooklyn. Let's hold on. Okay, hold on. Didn't I just read just about 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago, did he say, quote unquote, we are the people of the book? Do me a favor. Did you hear that? Give me a one in the chat if you heard me read that he said, we the people of the book. If you didn't hear that, maybe I'm crazy. Again, maybe I'm crazy. And now I just read here that he is okay, so I'm not crazy. Okay. Just wondering. Because now I'm reading here that he is a quote unquote devout atheist. I'm clutching my pearls. Oh, that is so interesting. Let me continue. I'm having fun tonight, y'all. If y'all can't tell, I'm having fun. It was a humorous fate that brought this academic career to its apogee. I don't know how to pronounce that word. And a deep South papal stronghold, and extended it into the era of whiny students and the spineless administrators who always seem to side with them. It hardly ranks as news that some of Block's charges have allegedly been distressed by his quote-unquote racist, homophobic, transphobic, and sexist statements. It happens so often that university authorities recently subjected him to the exquisite torture of sensitivity training. There was no such thing in the more robust days of his youth. Back in his day when America was great. Never mind. That fresh accusation that fresh accusations have now been leveled against Block does not necessarily mean that trying to re-educate geezers is a waste of time. Although it probably was in his case, Block is clearly about as sensitive as he's ever going to get. But he may not be in hot water again through any fault of his own. For students commonly misconstrue what their professors say, especially if those professors come with a reputation for bigotry. There is no doubt that Block has frequently been bum-rapped. Students have, for instance, lodged the absurd complaint that he compared Gandhi's successful efforts to free India from the British colonial yoke with Hitler's attempt to exterminate Jewry. Block can sometimes fail to grasp how delicate young sensibilities can be these days, however. He still does not seem to understand why he was sentenced to sensitivity training after explaining to a class that incomes are determined by productivity. The more cotton you can pick, the more you earn, was how he chose to make the point. Whereupon a Black student whose forebears labored on a plantation took umbrage. Block should have seen that coming. His worst kerfuffle came in 2014 when he was quoted in New York Times to the effect that slavery wasn't so bad because you could pick cotton, sing songs, be fed nice gruel, etc. The only real problem, he said, was that slaves were denied the right to free association. You cannot make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. Block was miffed because the reporters thought he was talking about real slavery when he meant the voluntary kind. Asked where voluntary slaves are to be found, he admitted that they don't exist. But explained that in an attempt to make journalists understand libertarian principles, he was talking hypothetically. Block is a long-standing advocate of reparations for the descendants of slaves. With friends like these, who needs enemies? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The latest complaints against Block Provost Tanuja Singh explains that a letter to him arose in the course of an ongoing investigation into similar alleged conduct. The charges are that Block averred women are paid less because they are lazy or incapable, and that is the same with people of color. Singh warns that Block, tenured though he is, may be subject to disciplinary proceedings for creating a hostile and discriminatory environment. Y'all, this is in 2021. Okay? This is in 2021. Now, I gotta tell y'all this, right? I have to tell y'all this, right? Because see, when somebody is calling for debate, you need to know who your opponent is. And I know he didn't think he was saying he was the opponent, right? Because he's just an instigator. But we're going to deal with him. So let's continue. Y'all had enough? Oh, we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. Change.org. Fire Walter Block. Walter Block is a professor in the business school at Loyola University, New Orleans. He has publicly stated that he believes slavery to be wrong because it goes against libertarianism, not because it is morally wrong. He has justified women being paid less than men. See his book, Building Blocks of Liberty. He is allegedly I think they meant to say atheist too, ableist. I don't know what that is. One student shared their experience that he allegedly said schools can deny disabled students admission. This is what the student shared. He once told me to my face that Americans with Disabilities Act was a terrible law. I asked him, so you think a university should be able to refuse to admit me for no other reason than my blindness? And he was like, yeah, because then another university will find the market niche and you could go there. Okay. If Loyola is really wanting to remove racism, they should remove racists from teaching. While it is important to have professors with different views and opinions and beliefs, racist and sexist beliefs should not be a part of this. It is harmful to any non-men and any Black people to be taught that slavery isn't morally wrong, to be taught that women don't deserve to be paid and treated equally. Fight racism, end racism, fire the racist. Okay? Y'all see the signatures here? They gold at 1,000. They made 766 signatures. See, he mad at Ron Dalton. His numbers are going the opposite way. He mad. So these are some of the responses. Okay? These are some of the responses. But I like I told you, I can't get all. Let me see if I can get all. I think it was on this one. It was on, yes, it was on this one. It wasn't on the last one. It was on this one. Of course, a lot of people are going into it. But I wanted to share the one about South Africa, if I get a chance to see that up here. Ooh. This is something else, ain't it, y'all? Here it is. When I was studying abroad at the University of Cape Town, we had a class where someone described an awful, racist, biased, sexist professor in the US. We had an entire discussion about him. Everyone in the class is horrified by what his stances were, what he has said, how he acted, all of it. Come to find out, it was this professor they were talking about. I went to a school in South Africa that was sent there by Loyola, New Orleans, where they were teaching a class about horrid American professors. And Walter Block was the one they focused on. Imagine how humiliating it is to be going abroad, coming from Loyola, New Orleans, only to be taught a class about how awful one of our professors is. This man is trash. Bruh. I'm just saying. Block, Walter Block, or Block, Walter Walk. What's his name? Walter Block. I like that. But this is the guy that is trying to pick on Ron Dalton. You understand what I'm saying? This is that guy. Thank you so much for your gift. Only 60 games played. I appreciate your support. Thank you. I got more, y'all. I got more. We having fun tonight, right? You having fun and you ain't put a one up, you haven't put your thumb up. Go ahead and do me a favor and get your one up. Because we got some more. We got some more tonight. He ain't done yet. You see, I look at it like this. If Ron Dalton is going to debate the man, at the very least, he should understand his debate style, right? I mean, that's what debaters do. They understand each other's style so that they can, see ahead of time how they need to come at this particular person. So I went ahead on behalf of Ron, and I went ahead and I did it for him, okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at his debate style. He is having a debate, Sam Cedar versus Libertarian Professor Walter Block, Freedom, Slavery, and Civil Rights Act. We're going to listen to a good few minutes of this. All right, get out your popcorn. Here we go.
This is not unrelated in many respects, but and it was recently in the news. But I want to move on to something that you've written on I think it was LouRockwell.com, and it was in the context of something else. But I think it's a really interesting point. You wrote that free association is a very important aspect of liberty. It's crucial. Indeed, its lack was a major problem with slavery. That the slaves could not quit. They were forced to associate with their masters when they would have had vastly preferred not to do so. Otherwise, slavery wasn't so bad. You could pick cotton, sing songs, be fed nice gruel, etc. The only real problem was that this relationship was compulsory. It violated the law of free association and that of the slaves' private property rights in their own persons. The Civil Rights Act of 1964, then, to a much smaller degree, of course, made partial slaves out of the establishments of the owners of establishments like Woolworths. Now, so you perceive in this instance that, and I understand that you follow the guiding light, and tell me if I'm wrong on this. I give you permission to interrupt me if it's wrong, of the non-aggression principle. That is that everything is okay, but for that which involves the threat of physical violence.
Now, before he responds, I just want y'all to pay careful attention, okay? Because this man set up the debate. He's talking about the debate. Now let's take a look and see how he responds.
Upon someone. And thus, the Civil Rights Act, which says you as a store owner must serve all comers who, or I should say, you cannot deny people based upon race, is encroaching upon their freedom in such a way that they've been made into partial slaves, because the defining aspect of slavery in this instance is the force to associate with people. Is that a fair assessment of what you've written?
Not only fair, but highly accurate. But before I answer that, and you've gone on about 5 minutes here, so give me
Well, it's my
a
show,
couple
to be
of minutes.
fair.
Yeah, well, we're supposed to share. Let me just say that your summary of my views on empirical evidence is wrong. In my understanding, about 95% of all empirical evidence on the minimum wage shows that it creates unemployment for unskilled workers. Okay, now let's get back to this new thing. The new topic about slavery and the Civil Rights Act. And
now, before I continue, did y'all hear that? Did y'all catch that? The man said, "Let me set up the argument real quick. And would you say this is a fair assessment?" And his first response was, "Well, hold on. Let's discuss why it is that you took 5 minutes to talk before I got. I thought we was going back and forth." Now, that's very, very important as you listen further on. Okay? Here we go.
Free association. Let me read you something from Frederick Douglass, who, this is in 1882. He's a former slave. He's roughly the 19th century equivalent of, I don't know, Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, namely a leader of the Black community, a scholar, a person with great effect on the Black community. Here's a quote from Frederick Douglass. "My feelings were not the result of any marked cruelty in the treatment I received. They sprang from the consideration of my being a slave at all. It was slavery, not its mere incidents, that I hated. I had been cheated. I saw through the attempt to keep me in ignorance. I saw that slaveholders would gladly made me believe that they were merely acting under the authority of God in making a slave of me and making slaves of others. And I felt to them as robbers and deceivers. The feeding and clothing me well could not atone for taking my liberty from me." End quote. That's Frederick Douglass. What he's saying is that the essence of the evil, he's asking, why is slavery evil? And he was answering it roughly the way I answered it. Namely, it had nothing to do with picking cotton. It had nothing to do with eating gruel. It had nothing to do with, I don't know, living in a cabin, or nothing to do with singing songs or any of it. The key element of slavery was that it violated the law of free association, or the axiom of non-aggression. That was what was wrong with slavery. That was what I was telling the New York Times. And those people somehow got from that I thought that slavery was not so bad, which is, a version of.
I'm not going to defend the way that the New York Times expressed your views. It's not relevant.
Sam, did I go on too long that time? Is that why you're interrupting me?
Oh, I apologize. Continue.
Right. Okay. So the key element of the evil of slavery was none of these mere incidents, as Frederick Douglass talked about. Rather, it was coercion. It was forcing people against their will to associate with you when they didn't want to. Now, let's take Woolworths, and a Black person, Woolworths in 35 or 1930, 1940, whatever, Woolworths in the South. 50. A Black person comes in and says, "Hey, what's for lunch?" Or "I'd like a hamburger." And the guy says, "Sorry, we don't serve Black people." And what I'm saying is that if you compel Woolworths to associate with the Black person in this way, what you're doing is you're violating the rights of Woolworths. Now, this really sounds horrible to our modern ear. Isn't that evil? And again, I approach this from an economic point of view and from an ethical point of view. From an ethical point of view, it's very clear. People should be free to associate with whoever they want. The analogy I use is that if you deny this, what you're really doing is promoting compulsory bisexuality. Now, sit down. Don't interrupt. Let me make this point. The problem with male heterosexuals is that they discriminate against half the human race in terms of love partners or bed partners or whatever. Problem with female heterosexuals is that they too discriminate. They don't go to bed with other females. That's politically correct to attack heterosexuals. I'm now going to do something politically incorrect, and I'm going to attack homosexuals. Male homosexuals are evil discriminators because they too discriminate against half the human race, namely women. And lesbians also are evil discriminators because they discriminate against half the human race, namely men.
Yeah,
It's
y'all see
only
this dude
bisexuals
have all this
who
patience
don't
for
discriminate
right?
against anyone. So if you're going to logically say that nobody should ever discriminate against anyone, what you're really calling for is compulsory bisexuality. But even bisexuals, bless their hearts, as we say in the South, are evil discriminators because they too discriminate, not on the basis of gender, but on the basis of, I don't know, lookism or sense of humor or, I don't know, intelligence or whatever normal people discriminate in favor of. So Woolworths should be able to discriminate too. Everyone should be able to discriminate. Everyone does discriminate. I mean, as I say, heteros and homos all discriminate. So
He's trying to get the word in
nothing wrong with
edgewise.
discriminating. Now,
But Professor, wait a second. Now you have actually gone on.
Okay, your turn.
But let me address this.
Your turn.
Don't you see there is a difference between an individual's sexual preference and a business that is engaging in economic activity and is using all of the resources that society has provided, as well as a license to do business? That Woolworths was a corporation by not in nature. Woolworths was a corporation because they registered with the state. And so when you say to a black person, you can't go in and eat at Woolworths, or let's use another example. When you say to a black person, you can't come in and buy my goods that you're looking to resell, you're actually preventing them from participating in the economy. And you are fundamentally hurting their ability to live, and even in your laissez-faire capital world, to participate there. Now, so why is that not problematic to you? I mean, I understand this notion that it's a slightly different than just associating with one. It is actually about allowing someone to participate or not participate in the economy based on their skin.
First of all, I didn't say it wasn't problematic. I do regard this as highly problematic. I wouldn't do that. I think it's pretty despicable.
No. I know you wouldn't do it.
Hey, shut up. It's my turn now, isn't it?
Well, you're just mischaracterized what I said.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn or not?
Well, you mischaracterized me, so I just wanted to.
And when it's your turn, you can correct me. But it's my turn now. You said that I thought it was not problematic.
No,
that's what you said.
I said
I think it is problematic.
Why?
And I don't favor.
Hey! Shut up! Man, I'm telling y'all, I was cracking up last night. Man, I couldn't even believe it. Now, the reason I'm showing y'all that, not so that y'all can hear the ongoing back and forth of slavery and his ideas around slavery, I want y'all the question is, should Ron Dalton debate a Jewish man by the name of Walter Block? Yes, that was real. Let's play that back. Let's do the replay. That was actually kind of funny. Let's play the replay on that.
Hurting their ability to live, and even in your laissez-faire capital world, to participate there. Now, so why is that not problematic to you? I mean, I understand this notion that it's a slightly different than just associating with one. It is actually about allowing someone to participate or not participate in the economy based on their skin.
First of all, I didn't say it wasn't problematic. I do regard this as highly problematic. I wouldn't do that. I think it's pretty despicable.
No. I know you wouldn't do it.
Hey, shut up. It's my turn now, isn't it?
Well, you're just mischaracterized what I said.
Is it my turn or not?
Well, you mischaracterized me, so I just wanted to.
And when it's your turn, you can correct me. But it's my turn now. You said that I thought it was not problematic.
No,
that's what you said.
I said
I think it is problematic.
Why?
And I don't favor this. I'm making a distinction between should these people be put in jail or not? Now, like, take this guy, what's his name?
All right, you can listen to the rest of that, and it is kind of long, but I wanted to show y'all that. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to show y'all that, okay? Because that's his debate style. That's how he roll. That's how he roll. You know, and I will give a shout out to my brother, Pastor Kelly. I saw him up in here a minute ago. He says, blessings. I read the book, watched the movie, and did a fact check on the so-called anti-Semitic tropes, which was completely false. Shout out to Pastor Kelly. And you are most definitely welcome to come on in a few minutes as we get ready to wrap this up. I'm going to put the invite link if you are out there so you can share your thoughts on this as well. But I got a little bit more I want to share with y'all because, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, we can at least give a man a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, just get, you know, I mean, I know he went off a little cray-cray. You know, maybe he was having a cranky day. Maybe it was just a cranky day, you know. But let's just see how he feels, you know, about other situations. And maybe he's having, you know, a better day. It's not a debate. You know, let's hear him on out. Y'all got a few minutes to hear him on out. We're gonna listen to him on a news, an interview, okay, talking about slavery and welfare. Now, I don't think that this title right here is justifiable. Walter Block, slavery is better than welfare for Black communities, because I don't think that's the crux of his message. Okay, we're gonna listen, and then y'all can tell me what y'all think.
Horrendous things. They don't. They're not efficacious, and they don't lead to good conclusions. And they're a violation of rights. Look. If I come up to you with a gun and I say, "Give me your money," and you protest and say, "Well, that's against libertarianism," I say, "Tut, tut, tut, I'm going to give it to some poor person." It doesn't make it any less theft than any other way. So when the government has welfare, whether it's corporate welfare, individual welfare for ostensibly poor people, or foreign welfare, it's just wrong. And welfare has very, very deleterious effects. What happened, you know, there's this experiment: if you throw a frog into boiling water, it'll jump out. Its metabolism is such that it'll jump out. And if you put a frog in cold water and you heat it up gradually, it'll stay there and get, I guess, boiled
to death. Yeah.
Well, slavery was like boiling water with regard to the Black family. After the slavery was ended in 1865, the Black family was almost as intact as the white family. All through the 1870s and 1880s, Black people were trying to get together. And in the 1910 census, the rate of family formation between whites and Blacks was just a teensy bit different, a little bit in favor of whites, but it was pretty good. Then we had welfare, and the Black family is not only breaking up, but failing to form in the first place. I think the statistic is something like 3/4 of the three-quarters of Black kids are raised in non-intact families, and intact families are very important. An intact family means that you have less criminality, less drugs, less prostitution, less school leaving, and all sorts of things. And the welfare just undermined the Black family.
So you're
the welfare, that's private
let's
welfare.
back up a second. Let's back up a second. So you're suggesting that welfare was the problem in the African American community, because I'm sure there are many people that would very passionately disagree with that and argue that there isn't enough assistance or enough to help for people that have the odds so stacked against them in that regard.
Well, you're quite right. There are people who would argue against it, but I beg to differ from them. The statistics are clear. Until 1965, when welfare really got going, the Black family was pretty intact. But as Charles Murray in his book Losing Grounds demonstrates, I think very well, what welfare did is made a young woman who was pregnant a much better offer than the young man who impregnated her. In effect, she married the state. And it's not just a Black thing. In Sweden, where they're mostly white people and they have welfare, the family is becoming unintact there too. So it's not a Black-white thing. It's just an indication of the vicious, depraved, and immoral effects of welfare. And you know, it sounds good. You know, it sounds like motherhood and apple pie, but it breaks up families. And families are very important for the economy. Monetary policy is too, and getting rid of the Fed is also, and getting rid of the minimum wage, and unions are too. But a good family formation is an indication, a precursor to economic welfare as well. So we should get rid of corporate welfare, domestic welfare for poor people, supposedly, and also foreign aid. And what we should do.
All right, family, get ready for it. He's getting ready to give you his solution to the problem. I hope you're ready.
To help the Black family is, first of all, legalize drugs. In terms of African-American community, they are disproportionately in jail or dead due to shootings with each other. Ron Paul is accused of being a racist, and yet he is the only one, not Obama, well, Gary Johnson also now, who is relevant to the race. The libertarians are the only ones who are saying we should legalize drugs. And if we did, an awful lot of young Black men wouldn't be dead who are now dead. And an awful lot of them would be out of jail because all they did was buy and sell stuff. And in buying and selling is part of free enterprise, only they bought and sold marijuana.
All right.
And then
I'm sorry, Professor Block, we're out of time. I do appreciate you sharing all of your views.
Ooh wee. Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's the solution to our problem, quote unquote, African American plight. Just make all the crack cocaine legal. I mean, come on. Now, this is the one that the Jerusalem Post decided. This is the one they decided was worthy of writing that article against Ron Dalton, calling him anti-Semitic. Okay? Family, here's my issue when it comes to debate. I personally believe that when we lower ourselves to their calling, we're doing ourselves a disservice. We're doing ourselves a disservice. We don't cower to them. We don't go off of what they say. I don't care whether or not they say challenge to a debate. We are a serious people. And he's a clear joke. We need to stop. We need to cut this nonsense out. Okay? Because we have to start taking our own selves more seriously. We can't be dealing with this nonsense with these people coming in and trying to pull our coat strings and pull us along with whatever agenda that they want. Debate? There ain't no debating. We the people. You would debate. Debate what? No. That's why I stand with another organization. Okay? And before I tell you who I stand with, I just want to make it clear to y'all that this episode is brought to y'all by Big Ten Designs, Judah, no ish, Sherlock. Okay? They ain't no ish to us. We Judah. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So go ahead and go on and step over to Big Ten Designs. Get your shirt today, because we the people for real. Now that I said that, got that out the way, I want to share with y'all what I think we do need to do as a people. Y'all take a look at this.
The African Israelite Justice Foundation is not your usual legal practice. You see, we focus primarily on cases involving injustice against African Israelite groups or injustice against individuals because he or she identifies as an African Israelite or an Israelite of African descent. In other words, we are not a general legal practice. Instead, we specialize on African Israelite cases. And also, family, please keep in mind, we are a brand new organization, not affiliated with any existing organizations. However, it is our hope to establish connections with all African Israelite groups and people here in the States and around the world. Family, We need to hear your stories of injustice so that we can begin to record, investigate, and identify the enemies of Israel hiding behind the veil, and then ultimately hold them accountable in a court of law. And as stated before, we are a brand new organization with limited funds, and we are in the process of expanding our resources to further enhance our legal team, who will litigate our cases. And if you would like to join this historic cause, please share this message all over social media. Spread this message of IsraeliteJustice.org worldwide. And get this message from Kyrie to Kanye, from Whoopi Goldberg to Nick Cannon. And also share your stories of injustice or donate to the cause. And if you so choose to, you can remain anonymous and let us do all the work. After all, that's what the Israelite Justice Foundation is here for. We are here to fight for your right to be Israel. As always, thank you in advance. We appreciate you and love you, Israel. Take care, family. Shalom.
Shout out to Sister Ray Chantel. She designed the website. That's what I'm talking about. That's right, my brethren. B'nai Israel up in the house. Yeah, that's awesome. I like that. I saw that. Let me tell y'all something. We have to take ourselves more seriously. We must take ourselves more seriously as a people. You see, we got to hit them where it hurts. We don't got time for all this nonsense. As far as I'm concerned, we need to start dealing with lawsuits for slander. Stop calling Israelite people anti-Semitic. How you gonna call a Semitic people anti-Semitic? How you gonna call a Semitic people anti-Semitic? That in itself is anti-Semitic, to deny us our heritage. How dare you? You see, we got to stop playing with them. Long time since we should have stopped playing with them. Long time. We ain't got time for these games with these people no more. This is nonsense. So when I saw that, I said, man, I got to put that up. My brother, B'nai Israel, up in the building, handling business. And I love it when Yasharel is handling business. My brethren over at Question to Unite Africa, handling business. Do you understand what I'm saying? I love it when my people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, wherever we are, whether we in the States, the Caribbean, the UK, the continent, handling business. It's time we stop playing with these people. We ain't got time to play with these people no more. Why? Because they're continuously trying to provoke us. And we see the clown games. That dude isn't even worth Ron Dalton's time, not the time of day. Why? Because we already see that he has a reputation for being racist. We already see that his own students are calling for his resignation. People in South Africa talking about how racist he is. Why would Ron Dalton give him the time of day? He's busy doing Yah's work. So as far as I'm concerned, we ain't got time for that nonsense. We ain't got time for it. We got to be busy about our Father's business. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this out here. This link. We ain't going to be on here all night. Y'all can share your thoughts. Anybody wants to come on and get their thoughts about what they saw tonight, you can do so. Y'all know I got about 10, 15 minutes. If you want to come on and share your thoughts. If not, we can get ready to end pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and look at the comments while I wait. Yeah, I believe in 2 Chronicles 7:14. That's what the 7:14 movement is all about. I believe absolutely that we need to pray and we need to have faith. But the word of the Most High makes it clear that faith without works is dead. We also have to do the work. And one of the things that we as a people, we don't like to do is we don't like to mobilize. A lot of times we give our energy to the system of Babylon. We give our best efforts to the system of Babylon, right? But when it comes to uniting and working together, all of a sudden we get extra spiritual. And we act like our hands are supposed to be held behind our back and tied because we're unfaithful if we're not waiting on Yahuwah to do it. Well, that's not how it works in the kingdom. The kingdom, you have to work. Y'all talk about reading the Old Testament. The Old Testament, they worked. They worked and had faith. New Testament as well. So I stand with my brothers and my sisters that are putting in the work. I believe that we do need to have some type of representation. Why shouldn't we have representation? How is it that they can have an anti-defamation league and have representation for themselves? How come every other group, every other nation can have representation for themselves, but when we have representation for ourselves, and that's a problem? I don't think so. I don't believe that at all. Shout out to Gerald Colbert. Thank you so much for your gift. You say United Global Kingdoms of Africa organization led by Israelites coming soon. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? It's about getting that work in. Y'all got to put that work in. We all are called to work. Matter of fact, he says, work while it is yet day, because night comes when no man can work. So I think that it's important that we consider the people that are laboring in his vineyard, that are out there to protect those of us who can't protect ourselves legally. How many times have you been discriminated against and not had any representation? How many times? It's happened many times to me. If it's happened to you, I think we need to support the work. But if you don't feel you need to support the work, that's okay. But those of you who can support the work, like B'nai Israel said, please do a favor and donate, share your stories. It's a new organization, support for the work to get done. Bring in Brother Don P in the building. Peace and blessings to you, my bro. How you doing?
Hey, my sister, you, wow, what a fun, bro. We were having fun laughing at Blockhead.
Right.
That's what I was calling. I was calling him Blockhead.
Yeah,
this dude is a whole joke. He is on the poll. No, Ron shouldn't waste his time with this idiot. But what's really interesting is this: the other video with the pastor, with the white pastor, and his daughter-in-law is some kind of big. And this idiot is talking kind of along the same way as Blockhead. How benevolent the slaveholders, you hold people as property, but you say you're good people. What the heezy? We just, we go after people and we tear people up with the truth. And the truth is in the scripts. And it's like, Yasharel, you are actually the people of the book, not the people in the book. See, Blockhead and his folk, they the people in the book that it says in the last days. This is what end of the world. And we are the beginning. See, these folks are having to deal with something that they've never had to do, and their place in it. All the stones are being unturned, the graves are being opened, and we're seeing the nasty corpse and everything that we have been able to write the narrative because they control it, to make it about these structural situations. Truth. So the narrative is, oh, well, it was the white people that enslaved y'all. It was the white people. When the Most High deals, I think he doesn't know what 70 of the 70 nations you belong to. So as the truth is being unveiled, and I love that. I love losing their mind, because it's just in my spirit that Anglo-white, they're gonna say, you duped us the whole time. Now we have to deal with you. So it's going to be real interesting. I really was informative. I was laughing and making comments. And shout out to Pastor Kelly. Hey, man, the work you put in yesterday, that was like really, really good. It's about us doing things. And you talk about us being about it. And so if you can see,
Yeah, man. I
the
hear
little,
I
I
hear
don't know what you got to call it.
you're a little spotty, you breaking up, but I heard a lot of what you're saying, and I appreciate, and sharing. I know lately you've been having some connection issues, like on the different platforms you've been on. It's been kind of like breaking up a little bit, but we appreciate,
No. So,
go ahead.
yeah, you can confirm that for me. You confirm that for me, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well,
My studio. So anyway, I love you, sister. I'm gonna jump off, and we'll chat later.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. So family, listen, all I'm saying is that we don't need to be wasting our time. We just don't. We need to recognize that at the end of the day, the Most High is calling us to be a people that are the head, and the head people are the people that are taken the most seriously. So we don't need to be going off dealing with clowns and their foolishness. It's beneath us as a people. That's what I'll say. It's beneath us as a people. So that's all I'm going to share tonight. I want to thank all of you so much for coming out. Thank you for just being the blessing that you are. Thank you for those of you who have given. Those of you who will give, we appreciate y'all so much. Definitely check out Big Ten Designs. We have some great designs. Thank y'all. Shout out to all of y'all who are supporting Big Ten Designs. It's such a blessing. I appreciate y'all. Definitely give me your feedback and your reviews. I want to make it the best that I can to serve the household of Yesharel. And I got some other things that I'm working on coming up in August. I'm going to be sharing with y'all soon some things that are going to be for our families, particularly for our children. So I hope to get that work in. Thank you for my members and my patrons as well. Thank you for your patience. I'll be back with new content this month in July. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Sister Jonda. Sister Shonda, you're anointed on fire. Great message Friday. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Y'all blessed me just so much on Friday because it was not a message that was easy to deliver. Trust me when I tell y'all, I didn't even want to, but the Most High compelled me to go forth and bring that message. So I really appreciate all of you for your love and your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And family, y'all know what I say all the time. As always, love yourselves without hating your enemies, family, even when they act clownish. Don't hate them. Don't hate them. Why? Because we're bigger than that. We got to move on to bigger things. All right? So we're going to represent the kingdom. We're going to do it Abba Yah's way. Thank y'all so much for coming out again tonight. And we'll see y'all again soon. Love you.